From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, tragedy in Sokoto as 7 family members die after breakfast. Traders lament slow pace of Kano building collapse rescue operation. Emirates Airline restores Nigerian flights few hours to planned cancellation date. On the foreign scene, EU ministers agree to suspend Russian visa facilitation deal. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust Television. I am Ainde Shuaga. Family members die in Kaura village, Yabo local government area of Sokoto State after eating breakfast. The head of the family, Malam Dambala, said he lost his 2 wives and 5 children to the incident. Dambala, who works in Niger State as a laborer, received a call from one of his brothers asking him to come home at once. The devastated father said when he reached home, all members of his family, except for a little girl, were found dead. They were buried even before his arrival on Tuesday. Dambala said one of the wives cooked a local delicacy called dambu for their breakfast, and all complained of stomach pain before they were rushed to the hospital. The food was reportedly left uncovered in the night, and the incident happened after breakfast the following morning. At least 15 bodies have been recovered from flooded river Ngadabul in Maiduguri, Borno State. The Northeast Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Mohammed Usman, confirmed the development on Wednesday in an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria, NAN, in Maiduguri. Usman said the cases of drowned people in the flooded river that affected many communities along its banks in Maiduguri have been on the increase. He urged parents and guardians to caution their wards and children against swimming in the river to avoid drowning. The Borno State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, said it had deployed its personnel along the river banks to chase away children trooping to the river to take a swim. Kano State Executive Council has approved and directed the immediate marking and demolishing of all existing structures built on Kwaringogao Stream in the metropolis. Also marked for demolishing are drainage lines within and surrounding Kanting Quarry Market, with a view to removing all obstacles that hinder smooth flow of both storm and wastewater in the area. The State Commissioner for Information, Mohammed Garba, disclosed this while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the Council's weekly meeting held at the Executive Council Chambers, Government House, Kano. The Council also resolved that desilting and evacuation of all blocked drainages within the market and its surrounding, as well as removal of building materials deposited on the drainage lines within the market. Nearly 24 hours since the Kano building tragedy, traders and rescued victims of the Kano incident are expressing concern over the slow pace of the ongoing rescue operation. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that government authorities are hoping that there will be no more victims inside the rubble that has so far claimed 3 lives and injured 6. The report.
Fear, anger, and anxiety as some traders and rescued victims of the collapsed building in Beirut Road, Kano, begins to express concern over the slow progress in the rescue operations.
The situation is disturbing because we believe there are still people inside and work is moving too slow.
But the Kano State Emergency Management Agency assures that there is no cause for alarm because as per the agency's analysis, there might not be any other person trapped in the building.
Yeah, we are here yesterday night after around 11 o'clock when we confirmed from the leadership of the Traders Association here in Beirut Road that so far what we have rescued, about 8 of them, they don't expect there's anybody again. So this is why we raised our case to this morning when we continue with the clearance of the site. So we are now clearing outside, as you can see. This does not mean we will not go check again and see whether there's any leftover of the casualties.
So far, 3 people have died here, including an electricity worker who was electrocuted while disconnecting some cables around the markets.
Only one as of yesterday, I don't know of today. Only one. In fact, there are some of them who were even discharged yesterday, but the medical director is the one to confirm whether or not they are still in the hospital.
For now, a total of 8 people have been recovered from this building, while investigation to ascertain the possible causes of the building collapse commenced by the state government authorities. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
PDP vice presidential candidate and Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa has taken exception to suggestions by APC vice presidential candidate Kashim Shettima that he will take charge of security as a sitting vice president. Shettima said at the Nigerian Bar Association annual general meeting in Lagos, hinted that if elected into the office, Bola Tinubu will handle the economy while he will lead troops against terrorists. Speaking in Kano, Okowa punctured this suggestion, saying only the commander-in-chief can lead troops. Okowa also speaks on his emergence as running mate to Atiku Abubakar.
First, as I did say at the beginning, my emergence and the cries about it is all the politics. It's all the politics and the competition. A lot of people will qualify, and as I did say in my interview with Arise and Channels, so many of us were eminently qualified that I happened to be chosen. And I think it's God's grace. I've spoken about that.
Katsina State Governor Aminu Bello Masari has handed over 9 operational vehicles to security agencies in the state. While handing over the operational vehicles, the governor called on security personnel to use the vehicles effectively. Jamil Mabai has details.
9 locally made armored personnel carriers were produced in Kebbi State at the cost of 100 million naira. Governor Masari explained that the operational vehicles would augment weapons being used by the security operatives in the war against terrorism in the state.
He has said to support the operations of security agencies, especially in the front line, local government, and those local government that are equally affected. I think with these 9, we have over 30 APCs now in Katsina. I don't know what the military have, but from what the police and our efforts, I'm sure we have over 30 APCs in Katsina.
This is the first edition of the 9, and the state is expecting the 10th APC to support the operation of security agencies, especially in the frontline local government areas that are equally affected. Masari assured the people that with the massive support given to security agencies, efforts to curtail security challenges in the state would be further enhanced.
I think if we continue and with the cooperation with the general public, because whatever the security agencies are going to do, without the cooperation of the local population, it will be very difficult. And our biggest problem now is the connivance by informants that are given targets. Any abduction or kidnapping inside the communities or inside towns or inside the city is the work of informer. Because the normal kidnapping by armed bandits may be roadblock. You don't know who's coming.
While lamenting over the activities of bandits' informants, the governor appealed to residents to support the state government and the security agencies in the fight against crime and criminality. The governor commended the military and other security agencies in the state for their prompt and speedy response to distress calls.
Jamil Mobay, Trust TV News, Katsina.
Reactions have continued to trail the continuous warning by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to politicians and political parties to desist from engaging in early campaigns before September 28. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman speaks to some stakeholders in the nation's political space on culpability and prescribed sanctions.
Section 92 of the Electoral Law bars politicians and their political parties from engaging in any form of campaign ahead of the stipulated time, which is the 28th of September in the case of the 2023 elections.
If you do your investigation properly, you will discover that what we are doing is we are setting up our structures, strengthening them, and we are strengthening our structures. So what you saw us went to Nasarawa to do was just to, formally open the state secretariat of the party.
If the ruling party behaves responsibly, they will lead by example, and nobody will do it without being punished. But if the ruling party candidates are doing it, it's going to be difficult to stop the other political parties and other politicians from doing it. So it is something that the ruling party ought to have led by example.
But while the respondents continue to ponder on what constitutes campaign, how can such be tracked and who applied the sanctions, concerns remain on the impact of such contravention in the face of growing impunity on the nation's electoral space.
Even the English proper, if you situate the way the gatherings are described properly, you will discover that in the case of Labour Party, for instance, they will tell you 1 million man march. Then you look at APC, they will go and print caps and say 1 million man march like we saw in Lagos yesterday. We also saw a couple of days ago in Katsina and all those places. But for us, it is office commissioning outing.
INEC alone cannot do that. They need the collaboration and the partnership with other agencies, because INEC don't have prosecuting power. So they have to rely and work with other, agencies, police. They have to work with the police. They have to work with all other security agencies and the judiciary in order to bring an end to this.
Other sections of the new electoral law also prescribed 1 million naira fine on both political party and individual politicians who contravene the law. It also provides for 12 months imprisonment as penalties for other breaches. Implementation, however, remained a major concern among stakeholders. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The 19-year refugee camp housing victims of the Yelwan Shendam crisis has been jointly demolished by the Nasarawa state government. Abubakar Abdullahi reports that the camp was demolished over alleged criminal activities perpetrated by some inhabitants of the structure. The report is presented from our studio.
This is the Lafia Animals Market refugee camp. It has been brought down due to security concerns following the crisis that rocked some part of Plateau State years back, including Yelwan Shendam. Victims of these crises relocated to Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital, in search of a peaceful environment to live. The then government of Abdullahi Adamu cleared a bush close to Lafia Animals Market, constructed tents, and temporarily camped the crisis victims. During their stay, some of the victims constructed permanent structures, thereby making the place their permanent homes. Due to the alleged involvement of some of the inhabitants of this camp in criminal activities, state and Lafia local government authorities decided to issue them a quick notice informing the refugees of government intention to demolish the camp. Some of the refugees, while speaking after the demolition of the camp, denied the allegations leveled against them, adding that the action seriously affected them because they have nowhere to relocate to. This camp was given to us by ex-governor Abdullahi Adamu and late emir of Lafia, Musa Istafa Agwai, and we don't know our offense for these people to insist that we must vacate the camp. They framed us as thieves, kidnappers. We're hoping to hide kidnappers, and we told them it's not true, or none of our child they arrested in case of these crimes. They appealed to authorities from both Nasarawa and Plateau states to find solutions to their plight. In a reaction, representative of the State Urban Development Board and Lafia local government, who said prior notice were given to the refugees, also stated clearly that their stay was on temporary basis and informed them that the government needed to come for other projects.
And they are also aware of this exercise. We told them we are giving them few weeks for them to move out of this place. But in doing that, we have to really come and give them quick notices for them to be prepared, so that those who have their properties can move them to pave way for the exercise. But you know, humans, some of them felt it was not going to happen.
Before now, there has been an agreement between the state government and the local government that the refugee people that are residing here should be evacuated because the place was not given to them permanently. It was given to them on temporary basis. Now that government has a mission with this place, government decided that they should leave the place. We sat with them almost thrice. We all agreed, and they agreed that they are going to pack and leave the place.
They explained that the government will assist the refugees to return to their initial abode of Yelwan Shandam in Plateau State or any place of their choice.
The Ilorin Zonal Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, in collaboration with the Kwara State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, and the Federal Mines and Steel Development, have arrested 13 suspected illegal miners operating in Kakafu village in Pategi local government area of Kwara State. The suspects were arrested during a joint operation which followed credible intelligence received by the EFCC about some suspected illegal miners operating in the area. According to the federal miner in Kwara State, Henry Bolaniwa, the suspects were with 5 trucks fully loaded with different brands of solid minerals which could be used in the production of batteries for manufacturing of electric vehicles.
This is just in furtherance of the clamping down on the illegal mining activities in the states. This happened to be the joint effort of the EFCC and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in collaboration with my ministry, the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development. So we were able to clamp down on the illegal mining activities, which has led to economic sabotage in the state. And this is the thing that really happened today. Is still in conjunction with the FOX, which is the Surveillance Task Force that was inaugurated by the ministry some time ago in checkmating the illegal mining activities in the state. So this incident happened yesterday, 30th day in the month of August 2022, while the joint task force of this 3 security agencies were able to clamp down on these illegal mining activities in the state, which are
Police operatives in Katsina State have bust an armed robbery syndicate, arresting 19 persons and recovered 13 vehicles in the process. The suspected armed robber, who are said to have specialized in terrorizing residents, were arrested in Mudoji area in Katsina metropolis. Abdullahi Yamadi reports.
The police command is happy with this arrest for 2 reasons. The first is because the residents of Katsina City have been having sleepless nights, all because of the nefarious acts of the suspected armed robbers. The command is also saying the suspects have been giving the police a serious headache as they constantly changed tactics from housebreaking to car snatching to armed robbery.
Residents, especially of the Katsina metropolitan area, were bedeviled with the activities of a syndicate that specialized in housebreaking, armed robbery, and theft of motor vehicles. The command did not rest on its oath, but launched a manhunt for the daredevil criminals, and to God be the glory, it has succeeded in cracking down the syndicate terrorizing the state.
Several dangerous weapons were recovered from the suspect during the arrest.
The syndicate broke and attacked residents of the Nura Lawal M of Madoji Quarters, GRA Katsina, with a gun and other weapons, robbed him of his motor vehicle, Toyota Corolla LE 2010 model, with registration number ABJ 836HC, hash in color, value 3,500,000.
Amid incessant terrorist attacks, which have devastated most parts of Katsina State, the police, based on credible intelligence, have also cracked down on a terrorist syndicate alongside their informants and other collaborators. Honestly, I regret my actions. I have been in this terrorism, kidnapping, cattle wrestling for over 3 years now. I have never seen a bad day like this. I regret it. We are too many on our group, and of course we used master key to steal vehicles, and it is very simple using a master key. We used to sell our vehicles in Kano, Bauchi, and other places. But today, we are in trouble. The police is, however, saying the success is being recorded in the fight against terrorism, armed robbery, and other criminalities are successful because of the support the command is enjoying from the public. Abdullahi Ismail Ahmadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Similarly, bandits numbering about 40 riding on motorcycles stormed Kabomo village of Bakori local government area of Katsina State, abducting 4 people, including a woman with 9-month-old pregnancy. The terrorists opened fire in the air with sophisticated firearms to scare villagers before breaking into their victims' houses. In a telephone chat, some residents told Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi that some of the villagers, especially women and children, are fleeing the community. The attack comes 5 days after terrorists struck Bakori town and Danja village, where they killed 2 and went away with several other victims. Crisis on Wednesday erupted at the Jabi Motor Park in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, between spare automobile parts dealers and scavengers. The fight broke out when some scavengers were alleged to have stolen some parts from shops of the spare parts dealers and shop owners. Trust TV crew was there and now reports.
This is Jabi Motor Park, one of the biggest markets where spare parts are sold in Abuja. The situation was chaotic. Gunshots rent the air, while tear gas flowed freely as police made frantic efforts to contain the situation. Sooner than later, few arrests of those allegedly involved were made. Many sustained varying degrees of injury from the issuing fracas, while properties were destroyed, with traders shutting down business activities immediately to avoid getting hurt. The Utako Divisional Police Officer said his men are on top of the situation.
Yeah, there was, I think, it's a sort of dispute, commercial dispute between mechanics, those artisans, that resulted to this. Within a response time of 3 minutes, we were here. We made some arrests, and others are on the run. So we were able to overpower, subdue, and take charge of the situation. Yes, peace have restored. As I said, it's just a domestic issue that was almost very out of hand.
While some arrests were made, the spare parts dealers said the activities of the scavengers have posed a serious threat to their businesses in the area.
All these Bambola people, every day they will pass in here, they will come and carry one thing and go. When you tell them to give you something, they will just ready for fight. And they have been doing it for the past 1 month. I don't know what they've been doing it for the past 1 month. They will be passing now in their group. They will pass here. They will just come and carry one thing here and go in. Give my car. They will just go.
Scavengers, popularly called Babambola, are a group of young boys who moved around the city center with super sacks in search of scraps, unused irons, electric parts, and others that fall within the preview of their transactions. But over time, they have been implicated in stealing valuables both in residential and marketplaces. This had led to the banning of the activities of scavengers in the capital city by the Federal Capital Territory Administration. But from the look of things, the outlawed group of scavengers is not ready to be phased out. Nana Muhammad, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching NewsHour on Trust Television. Coming up after the break, concerns over mother tongue survival. Stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is NewsHour on Trust Television, a recap of our top stories. Tragedy in Sokoto as 7 family members die after breakfast. And traders lament slow pace of Kano building collapse rescue operation. Moving to other stories, the Nigerian Defense Academy, NDA Kaduna, has graduated 129 paratroopers of the Basic Airborne Corps 2022 amongst the Academy's cadets of 70th Regular Corps. The paratroopers, who are pioneer jumpers of the newly established NDA drop zone, are also their 4th year in the academy currently undergoing their 5-year academic and military training before they are commissioned into the armed forces as officers. The report.
Speaking at the event, the Director of Military Training of the Academy, Brigadier General Emmanuel Emeka, said the training is in line with the curriculum of the NDA for cadet training as reviewed by the Chief of Defense Staff. Emeka explained that the purpose of the basic airborne course is to qualify the cadet in the use of parachute as a means of combat deployment. He said the overall objective is to have officers that are physically fit, mentally alert, and ready to confront the nation's contemporary security challenges.
Okay, it's in line with the reviewed curriculum of the Nigerian Defense Academy for training of cadets, as approved by the Chief of Defense Staff, and also the Commandant's training philosophy, which lay a lot of emphasis on physical fitness of cadets to be able to meet contemporary security challenges. It's in line with that we are exposing cadets to specialized warfare courses.
Some of the paratroopers cadets said they went through the rigors of ground training, tactical and jump phases.
For the past 1 month, we have gone for a bond training. We went through, the first phase was the PT, the physical training test. We all made it. The second phase was the ground training. That's when we did the PLF, that's parachute landing fall.
Normally, our troops that they used to normally carry to battlefield, sometimes before they will carry them and launch them into the battlefield, sometimes they will be exhausted, but with the use of a bond, once you paratroop, you drop and you snap and carry out your activity that you're meant to do. So a bond is a fast operation, is a fast way of operating that the army normally use now.
The event featured live jumps exercise with parachute by the cadet and decoration with airborne badges. In a few days, the cadet will be taken to Calabar in Cross River State for amphibious course. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has arrested a 27-year-old fake soldier in Gombe State. Parading the suspect, the NSCDC said Sulaiman Rabiu, who has been parading himself as a military officer for the past 2 years, will be charged to court. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The 27-year-old Sulaiman Rabiu is also being accused of torturing helpless civilians in Gombe metropolis. Speaking to Newsman, the suspected impersonator confessed to the crime.
I used to parade myself as a soldier everywhere. I told an officer that I was an army officer. I later retracted, but he investigated and confirmed I am an imposter.
The Gombe State Commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, said the suspected army imposter was arrested following an intelligence report.
The other second one is, you see, he's wearing fika for the military, a military uniform, parading himself as a military officer. And time without numbers, they bring complaints to him or to us, and then after we arrested him, we do all our utmost, strength in order to bring sanity to this state, and then do all our possible, possibility, so that we'll now do and then abort crimes and then criminality in the state, so that people will sleep with their eyes closed.
The NSCDC also paraded some suspected vandals of telecom masts and internet fraudsters. The command said all the suspects will be arraigned in court for trial. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Labour Party says it will win the 2023 elections, contrary to the impression created that its supporters are largely social media influencers. National Publicity Secretary of the party, Arabambi Abayomi, said in Lagos that more than 22 million registered voters have indicated interest in the party. The report.
Many believe the Labour Party has its support base in the social media where youth are very active. But Labour Party Publicity Secretary Arabambi Abayomi said Nigerians are yearning for change as the ruling All Progressives Congress APC has failed to meet the expectations of the people. Abayomi urged the APC-led government to get ready to vacate office in 2023, noting that nomination of card-carrying members and former aspirants as resident electoral commissioners will not save the party from defeat.
From the east to the west, to the core northern part of Nigeria, the new song in town is Peter Obi for president, because the market that another Nigerian, patronizes is the same market. They in the north, in the south, in the east, we are one Nigerian. And it is only Peter Obi that is the pan-Nigerian person, that want to become president of Nigeria and not a sectional president.
Abayomi also presents the certificate of return to the Lagos State governorship candidate, saying the controversy that trailed the party primary was unnecessary. It would be recalled that Ifagbami Awamaridi, the embattled state chairman and governorship candidate of the party, had insisted that he remained the chairman and governorship candidate of the party, having won the primaries earlier conducted and his name published by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. However, Abayomi maintained that Awamaridi was a placeholder and had voluntarily resigned as recommended by law, which he said necessitated the conduct of the substitute primary witnessed by INEC.
And I challenge Awamaridi, go to court, come and serve all the process with your lawyer. We don't care. And we also have it a good authority that, he has compromised his position. This is not the first time. He has a way of just, holding forth to gubernatorial seat, going to court, threatening the incumbent, to just make little change for himself. But those nonsense are stopped, in this dispensation, and we will not tolerate such a thing.
The newly appointed 24-man caretaker executive committee of the party in the state was also inaugurated on behalf of the National Working Committee of the party.
Youths in Bauchi State say they are dissatisfied with the current leadership in the country and have assured of their readiness to entrench a more responsible leadership during the forthcoming 2023 general elections. They gave the assurance in Bauchi while talking to Trust TV on election matters. Adamu Imam has details.
Nigerians believe the way the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC is preparing towards conducting a credible elections is commendable and gives them more confidence that 2023 general elections will be different from the past exercise.
But because I want to assure my vote is count, because I want to get change, or I will need to get change from the leadership we have now, because we are not enjoying the system. Seriously, the price of goods are high. The education of our younger brothers or youth today is very poor. We are not efficient with what the government has did to us this season. Seriously, we need change.
I'm going to vote because I am, as I am growing older, I am realizing the importance of leadership and voting, and I'm also becoming more aware of myself and then Nigeria as a whole. So I'm going to vote, and I'm calling on each and every eligible voter not to joke with voting, because you can complain, but when you don't vote, you don't even have the right to complain.
While some are citing insecurity in some part of the country as a threat to credible elections, others maintain that they will defy all odds to come out and vote because their vote will count.
According to the election that happens, so I'm confident that this upcoming election, inshallah, we are thinking that it will be very free and fair election, because we have seen many changes. Though there is some collapse, there is some neglection of government, but we are confident that inshallah this upcoming election will be very fair and good election, inshallah.
They are on strike, and students, they are stranded. They don't know anything to do. They don't have work. They don't have way to source to survive. There's so something. That is why I'm going to give my vote to bring change to the country.
Recent report by INEC shows that more than 80% of the recent permanent voter card registrants are youth aged 18 to 35. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Mother tongue refers to a person's native language learned from birth. It is the language that a child gets to hear first and helps give a definite shape to feelings and thoughts. Language embodies culture and other values of the native speakers, and linguists advise that native speakers ought to communicate in their mother tongues to their children to save languages from going extinct. In this report, Noel Sampson sampled opinions and reactions of Nigerians on native dialect extinction in the country. The report.
Modernization has brought about a culture where people prefer to speak in foreign languages, hence neglecting their own indigenous language, also known as mother tongue. This pattern of behavior can mostly be found among the middle class citizens. This has brought about a lot of concern among Nigerians who still hold high and have value for indigenous language and actually agree to the fact of its disappearance.
The core reason for it going into extinction, I think, is westernization. You see, people who are privileged to travel abroad and upon graduation, they came into Nigeria, so they imported white cultures into Nigeria.
Most of our parents, they no longer speak our indigenous language with their children at home. I don't know how they feel. Some feel it is civilization or socialization. Like I do tell people, your words can speak your mother's language in your homes, but when they get to school, they can speak whatever language they choose to speak.
Civilization have caused a lot of brouhaha in mother tongue because every typical Nigerian child will always go with the second language, which is English. And that is why I doff my cap for people like Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, who used the Swahili as the mother tongue and as the first language in their country. And that is why you find out that there is a level of cultural value, a level of decency, and all the rest of them.
Parents, or rather guardians, we tend to teach our children more of English at home. When you want to talk to them, you send them on errands, we use English language. So that's why our mother tongue has gone into existence.
Reasons for its gradual vanishing state highlighted.
Learning is about interest. Understand, whatever it is you want to learn is about interest. So if I am really interested in my local language, I should see to it that I can at least decently speak it.
In our homes, we should make sure we teach our children how to speak our language. And also, we should name our children after our local names.
We have to go back from the foundation, from right away from the kindergarten, to teach these children their mother tongue. And parents should avoid being tempted by the wave of civilization that one who does not speak English is not recognized.
I will encourage parents, guardians, relatives to try, and when you want to talk to your people around, your family members, you use the mother tongue.
It is a fact that mother tongue is actually heading to its death in Nigeria. Losing these languages means losing a great part of humanity, as languages are much more than spoken or written words and sentences. They are also means through which cultures, knowledge, traditions are preserved and transmitted between generations. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're still watching Trust Television. More stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has urged relevant stakeholders in the health sector in Zamfara State to step up efforts to eradicate cholera in the state. UNICEF consultant Toyin Adisa made the call during a multi-sectoral meeting with stakeholders in Gusau, the state capital, over the emergency prevention, preparedness and response to cholera outbreak across the 14 local government areas of the state. The report.
United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, and European Union Commission for Humanitarian Aid and Civil Protection Department is funding 10-month cholera eradication project in Zamfara State with the focus on local government areas which have been worst hit by the activities of bandits. This monthly coordination meeting on cholera emergency prevention, preparedness and response is convened to review the efforts of stakeholders towards stemming the tide of cholera outbreak in the state, especially in Zurmi, Birnin Magaji and Goso local government areas of the state, which had recorded number of cases in 2021. The UNICEF representative at the meeting, Toyin Adisa, appealed to relevant stakeholders to make themselves available so that they work towards preventing the outbreak of the disease.
This meeting is supposed to rub minds, discuss happenings regarding cholera in our communities, in our areas, in the state in general. What are we doing? I believe some of us are doing something, Ministry of Health is doing something, primary care board is doing something. And just like Kev said, this meeting is being funded by UNICEF, ECHO, and CIDA, and it will come up on monthly basis. As we have the one for the state, in Zurmi, we are going to have monthly basis in Zurmi as well.
The program manager of the Zamfara State Rural Water and Sanitation Agency, Sani Yaro, said the agency has commenced personnel hygiene promotion, assessing the status of water functionality in communities and other WASH interventions.
We don't have a department in the state, but for now we have wash unit in each of the LG across the 14 local governments. So we have aqua taps and chlorine powder already at the LGA level. So when we had the first case, I think the first incident case is about 3 or 4 that were informed in two communities, one in Kayai and the other one in Galadima ward. So which we directed the wash coordinator to move his team to those areas and start chlorination, do hygiene promotion, and other wash interventions.
The Executive Secretary, Zamfara State Primary Healthcare Development Board, Ismail Tukur, disclosed that the board is working with other key stakeholders to conduct search at various local government areas of the state.
As the world evolves away from the use of fossil fuel in line with the Paris Conference Agreement, the Director General of the National Automotive Design Development Council, NADDC, Jelani Aliyu, says electric vehicles will help to further foster an eco-friendly environment in the country. He further added that these vehicles are easy to use and technologically friendly, especially for young people. Christiana Amodu Otinya gives us details.
The Director General of the National Automotive Design and Development Council, Jelani Aliyu, has said that electric vehicles will help the country benefit from the gains of renewable and sustainable energy. He added that the innovation will help to foster an eco-friendly environment. Aliyu disclosed this during a test drive session of the first assembled electric vehicle at the headquarters of Media Trust Limited in Abuja.
This is a significant milestone because it shows that Nigeria as a nation is committed to environmental protection. It will also allow us, like I mentioned earlier, meet the targets of the Paris Accord. It will also spur and expedite technology transfer. It looks advanced. Yes, it is advanced, but it's actually a whole lot simpler technology than a petrol or diesel powered vehicle. This would allow young Nigerians, the youth most especially, to really understand this technology and even come up with new solutions that would be even more advanced and more applicable for Nigeria and Africa.
The first locally assembled electric car was first launched in November 2020 by the Lagos State Governor. The electric car was regarded in the European motoring industry as the world's #1, and it cost 24 million naira. It is imperative to know that the material used to assemble the 100% electric and zero-emission car was mostly sourced locally. Christiana Amodu Otia, Trust TV News.
Less than 24 hours to flight cancellation to Nigeria. Emirates Airlines has announced the reinstatement of its flight operations to Lagos starting September 11. The airline said this in an email to customers on Wednesday. The development comes almost a week after the federal government released the sum of $265 million to foreign airlines in the country to settle outstanding ticket sales. A statement from Emirates said inbound flights from Dubai to Lagos, EK783, and outbound flights from Lagos to Dubai, EK784, will commence from Sunday, 11th September. Emirates said Lagos flights after 30th September will be advised in due course. On the foreign scene, European Union foreign ministers have agreed on Wednesday to fully suspend a visa facilitation agreement with Russia, making it harder and more costly for Russian citizens to enter the European Union. The bloc's foreign policy chief, Joseph Borrell, said this at a news conference at the end of a two-day meeting on foreign ministers in Prague. Borrell said the move will significantly reduce the number of new visas issued by the EU member states. Diplomats said the EU ministers could not agree immediately on a blanket ban of travel visas for Russians as member states were split on the issue. And in sports, Chelsea have completed the signing of Wesley Fofana from Leicester City for a reported record fee of £75 million, including add-ons. The 21-year-old defender joins the Blues on a 7-year contract. The final deal sees Fofana become the most expensive defensive signing in the Blues' history, breaking the previous record set by Mark Cucurella, who joined from Brighton for £62 million earlier in the window. Fofana joined Leicester City in 2020 and was a regular starter under Brendan Rodgers in his maiden season. He missed the majority of the 2021-22 campaign after fracturing his ankle, but returned for full fitness in March and will be ready to integrate straight into the Chelsea squad. He played in 52 matches in total for Leicester, 37 of which came in the Premier League. 3 days of action in traditional sports National Open Championship at MKO Abiola Stadium came to an end with winners emerging. Adeniyi Adishafe has more.
Women Kokua exhibition debuted at the first National Kokua Wrestling to flag off the final round of medal fight. Kokua Women Wrestling showed that they are ready to compete for honors before the men finals began. Kokua wrestlers showcased their traditional wrestling skills in the finals of the first edition of Traditional Championship. In the 55kg category final, Katsina State Suleiman Salihu defeated Titi Koko of Bayelsa to win gold, while Jamilu Bokwe of Kano won 2-0 against Delta's Geoffrey Fred to win gold in a tough duel. Delta State had two fighters in the final of 75kg category, with Shafi Ulawa taking a better stand against Asai Scott Amos to win gold in a shocking defeat of 2-0. In the 85kg wrestling category, national champions and Olympian Ekereke Adiomo won gold for Delta to beat Kano State Sani Abubakar, while in the 100kg category between Kano and Katsina, Adamu Hassan won 2-1 over Isa Abdullahi. Ekereke Adiomo, while expressing happiness for winning gold in his category, says traditional sports help him to prepare as a national champion in freestyle wrestling.
So this competition, I take it as just a warming up because I didn't see anyone. I don't have any challenge. My only fight I'm fighting, I always protecting my champion.
Waziri Abubakar, who represents the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Youth and Sport, Ismail Abubakar, says traditional sports should be adequately promoted at the international level.
This is our own sport, and the ministry is committed to making sure that this event are organized more locally and internationally, and hopefully one day this sport will be among the Olympic sports.
Traditional Sport Federation of Nigeria organized events to create awareness about traditional sports, with events in 5 different sports which include Ayo, Langa, Dambe, Abula and Kokoa. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
With that report, we have come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. For more news, connect with us across all our social media platforms. I'm Ayinde Shuaga, thanking you for watching.